Hello, I'm Hope Logan. I am an actor on Bold and the Beautiful, and many people really love both me and our Bold and the Beautiful drama. So I've come here to share updates about my beloved Bold and the Beautiful. Everyone, please subscribe and support me. If you do, I will keep coming every day with new updates for you. Brooke Logan Forrester had been holding on to hope in more ways than one. In her heart, she believed that her daughter would eventually find her way back to Forrester Creations, the fashion empire that had shaped so much of their lives and carried the weight of their family's legacy. Brooke imagined a future where old wounds could heal, misunderstandings could be forgiven, and Hope Logan Spencer would once again stand proudly among the Forrester team. The thought brought her comfort during uncertain days, giving her something positive to focus on as tensions continued to simmer beneath the surface. But while Brooke was busy looking toward a reunion she believed was inevitable, a very different reality was already unfolding behind closed doors. Unknown to her, Hope had quietly chosen a new path, one that would soon shake Brooke's world and leave her feeling blindsided by a betrayal she never saw coming. Far away from the future Brooke had envisioned, Hope had already thrown herself into an entirely new chapter. She had joined the team at Logan and was hard at work developing a fresh fashion line that promised to create excitement throughout the industry. The project carried enormous potential, and whispers of innovation and ambition were already beginning to circulate. For Hope, this new opportunity represented more than a career move. It was a chance to establish her own identity, free from expectations and old conflicts. Yet the decision itself was not the greatest problem. The true damage came from the secrecy surrounding it. Had Hope been honest from the beginning, had she sat down with Brooke and explained her reasons, there might have been a difficult but possible road toward understanding. Brooke would undoubtedly have been hurt. She would have felt disappointed, betrayed, and frustrated by Hope's decision to leave Forrester Creations behind. But honesty might have softened the blow. Instead, Hope chose silence, allowing her mother to continue believing in a future that no longer existed while she secretly built another one. That deception threatens to transform a painful disagreement into something far more personal and devastating. When the truth finally emerges, Brooke will not simply be dealing with the shock of Hope abandoning Forrester Creations. She will also be forced to confront the realization that her own daughter deliberately kept her in the dark. The betrayal will arrive in two crushing waves, each one more painful than the last. First will come the revelation that Hope has aligned herself with a rival fashion venture. Then will come the realization that Hope knowingly allowed Brooke to continue believing a lie. For a woman whose life has been defined by passionate relationships, fierce loyalty, and emotional intensity, that combination could be almost impossible to forgive. The hurt may cut deeper than anyone expects, and once Brooke's emotions begin to boil over, the consequences could be explosive. One possible way Brooke could strike back involves something she understands very well: the power of public perception. News of Hope's departure from Forrester Creations and her decision to work for Katie Logan Spencer's fashion house is expected to become one of the biggest stories in the fashion world. Reporters will swarm for details, industry insiders will speculate endlessly, and every major publication will want Brooke's reaction. As cameras flash and microphones are thrust in her direction, Brooke may find herself with a powerful platform to express her disappointment. Instead of protecting Hope, she could choose to make her feelings known to the world. Brooke might publicly question Hope's judgment and suggest that she walked away from opportunities that could have elevated her career to even greater heights. In Brooke's eyes, Forrester Creations represents prestige, influence, and unlimited potential, while a startup fashion house could appear risky and destined for failure. If her anger reaches a boiling point, Brooke could use every interview and every headline as an opportunity to criticize Hope's choices, turning what should have been a proud career move into a public relations nightmare. As painful as public humiliation might be, Brooke's anger could become even more personal when she returns home and is forced to face the reality of Hope's deception every single day. At the moment, Hope is living on Brooke's property alongside Liam Spencer and their daughter, Beth Spencer. Their presence has long been part of the family dynamic, creating a sense of closeness despite the many challenges they have faced. But after learning the truth, Brooke may no longer be willing to share her space with someone she views as a traitor. The very sight of Hope could become a constant reminder of the betrayal. Every conversation might reignite old wounds, every encounter reopening the emotional damage. In a moment fueled by hurt and fury, Brooke could decide that enough is enough. She may tell Hope that she is no longer welcome under her roof, forcing both Hope and Liam to find somewhere else to live. The decision would carry heartbreaking consequences, especially because Beth would be leaving as well. Yet Brooke's anger may become so overwhelming that she chooses distance over reconciliation, even if it means sacrificing precious time with her granddaughter. Still, the most devastating possibility of all lies not in public criticism or living arrangements, but in the destruction of the bond between mother and daughter. Brooke and Hope have endured countless hardships together over the years. Their relationship has survived heartbreak, conflict, and family turmoil. Yet some betrayals leave scars that seem impossible to heal. When Hope finally attempts to explain her actions, Brooke may be too consumed by anger to listen. Every explanation could sound like an excuse. Every apology could feel hollow. The trust that once connected them may suddenly seem shattered beyond repair. In that dark emotional moment, Brooke could take the ultimate step and declare that Hope is no longer her daughter. Such words would not simply be spoken in anger. They would represent a heartbreaking attempt to sever one of the most important relationships in her life. The emotional fallout would be enormous, sending shockwaves through the entire family and leaving both women devastated by the collapse of a connection they once believed could survive anything. As these tensions continue to build, the atmosphere surrounding Brooke and Hope grows heavier with every passing day. What began as a secret career decision now threatens to evolve into a full-scale family crisis fueled by resentment, heartbreak, and wounded pride. Brooke's expectations have been shattered, her trust has been tested, and her patience may soon reach its limit. Meanwhile, Hope will find herself struggling to defend choices she believed were necessary while facing the painful reality of how deeply her actions have hurt the people she loves. The emotional battle lines are being drawn, and neither side appears ready to back down. With secrets on the verge of exposure and tempers ready to erupt, the stage is set for a dramatic confrontation that could change everything. And as the truth finally comes to light, Brooke may discover countless ways to make Hope pay for what she sees as an unforgivable betrayal, ensuring that the storm ahead will be impossible for anyone to ignore. The closer the truth comes to the surface, the more fragile Brooke Logan Forrester's carefully constructed hopes begin to feel. For weeks, perhaps even months, she has been holding on to the belief that Hope's future remained tied to Forrester creations. In Brooke's mind, any distance between them was temporary, merely another obstacle that a mother and daughter could overcome together. She imagined conversations that would repair old misunderstandings, and a professional reunion that would restore a sense of normalcy to their lives. Yet, as hidden pieces of the puzzle slowly begin falling into place, those dreams are poised to collapse in spectacular fashion. What Brooke sees as loyalty and family commitment is about to collide with a reality she never anticipated, and the emotional impact may be far greater than anyone expects. The pain of being left behind is one thing, but discovering that the departure was concealed from her entirely threatens to turn disappointment into something much darker. When Brooke finally learns that Hope has already become deeply involved with Logan's newest fashion venture, the revelation may hit her with the force of a personal betrayal rather than a simple business decision. Every late conversation, every reassuring smile, and every moment Hope allowed her mother to believe she was still connected to Forrester Creations could suddenly take on a different meaning. Brooke may find herself replaying recent events over and over in her mind, searching for signs she should have noticed. The more she thinks about it, the more the deception may sting. It will not just be about a job or a fashion line, it will be about trust. Brooke has always viewed herself as one of Hope's strongest supporters, someone who stood by her through triumphs and setbacks alike. To discover that Hope deliberately kept such a life-changing secret could leave Brooke questioning how much of their relationship remains intact. As the news spreads throughout the fashion industry, the story is likely to become impossible to contain. Industry insiders will dissect every detail, social media will explode with speculation, and rival companies will eagerly watch the drama unfold. What should have been a celebration of Hope's new beginning could quickly transform into a public spectacle. Brooke may find herself facing relentless questions from reporters eager to understand how such a dramatic shift happened without her knowledge. Standing before cameras with emotions running high, she may struggle to hide the hurt beneath her composed exterior. Every interview could become an opportunity for her frustration to surface. Instead of offering support, Brooke may choose to express her disappointment openly, painting Hope's decision as a reckless mistake that could jeopardize her future. Those comments would not only create headlines, but could also deepen the growing divide between mother and daughter, making reconciliation even more difficult. Meanwhile, inside the family home, the atmosphere could become unbearably tense. What was once a place of comfort and familiarity may suddenly feel like a battlefield where every interaction is charged with unresolved emotions. Brooke may begin viewing Hope's presence differently, no longer seeing the daughter she trusted, but the woman who kept a major secret from her. The silence between them could become just as painful as any argument. Simple family gatherings might turn awkward, filled with strained glances and unspoken resentment. Liam Spencer could find himself trapped in the middle, desperately trying to maintain peace while recognizing that the emotional damage runs far deeper than anyone anticipated. Even Beth's innocent presence may not be enough to soften Brooke's anger if she feels her trust has been completely shattered. The possibility of Brooke asking Hope to leave her property carries enormous emotional weight because it would symbolize far more than a change of address. It would represent Brooke drawing a line in the sand and making it clear that actions have consequences. For Hope, being forced to leave would be a painful reminder that her choices have affected not only her career, but also the foundation of her family relationships. Liam would likely stand by Hope's side, meaning he and Beth would leave as well, creating an even greater sense of loss. The empty spaces they leave behind could serve as daily reminders of a family fractured by secrecy and hurt feelings. Yet Brooke's anger may be so intense that she believes distance is the only way to protect herself from further heartbreak. In her mind, removing Hope from her immediate surroundings might feel like the only way to regain some sense of control after being blindsided. But beneath all the anger, accusations, and potential acts of retaliation lies a deeper emotional tragedy. Brooke's greatest wound may not come from losing Hope to another fashion house. It may come from the fear that she is losing her daughter altogether. Relationships built on trust can survive disagreements, but deception has a way of creating cracks that spread far beyond the original conflict. As Brooke wrestles with feelings of rejection and betrayal, she may begin questioning whether the bond she cherished still exists. Those fears could drive her toward extreme decisions, including the possibility of emotionally cutting Hope out of her life. Such a move would devastate both women, creating pain that extends far beyond the current controversy. Even if spoken in anger, words of disownment have a way of lingering long after tempers cool, leaving scars that are difficult to erase. For Hope, the coming storm could prove equally heartbreaking. She may have believed she was pursuing an opportunity that aligned with her ambitions and personal vision, never fully anticipating the emotional fallout that would follow. As she watches her mother's reaction intensify, Hope may find herself desperately trying to explain that her decision was never meant to be an act of betrayal. Yet explanations often struggle to compete with hurt feelings, especially when trust has already been broken. Every attempt to justify her actions could be met with resistance, creating a painful cycle of misunderstanding and resentment. The more she tries to reach Brooke, the further apart they may seem to drift. What began as a secret intended to avoid conflict could ultimately become the very thing that destroys their fragile peace. As the drama continues to unfold, one thing becomes increasingly clear. This conflict is no longer just about fashion, business, or career ambitions. It has become a deeply personal battle rooted in loyalty, trust, and family identity. Brooke feels betrayed by someone she loves most, while Hope feels determined to follow her own path despite the consequences. Neither woman is likely to back down easily, and that guarantees emotional fireworks in the days ahead. The truth has already begun its journey toward the light, and once it is fully exposed, there will be no way to undo the damage it leaves behind. Families can survive many things, but whether Brooke and Hope can survive this particular betrayal remains one of the most painful questions hanging over their future. And as emotions continue to intensify, viewers can expect heartbreak, confrontation, and unforgettable drama as this mother-daughter relationship faces one of its greatest tests yet. The emotional fallout is likely to spread far beyond Brooke and Hope, touching nearly everyone connected to them as the shockwaves of this secret continue to ripple through their world. What started as a private decision behind closed doors is rapidly becoming a crisis that threatens to divide family members, strain loyalties, and force difficult choices. As word spreads that Hope has quietly committed herself to Logan's growing fashion venture, people on both sides will inevitably begin taking positions. Some may view Hope as a courageous woman determined to step out of the shadow of Forrester Creations and build something of her own. Others may see her actions through Brooke's eyes, interpreting the secrecy as a betrayal of trust that never should have happened. The deeper the debate grows, the more isolated both women may begin to feel. Instead of finding support, they could discover that every conversation only adds another layer of tension to an already painful situation. For Brooke, the sense of humiliation may become almost as difficult to endure as the betrayal itself. She has spent years defending Hope, supporting her dreams, and standing beside her through countless personal and professional struggles. In Brooke's mind, she has always believed that no matter how complicated life became, honesty would remain at the center of their relationship. That belief is now being tested in the harshest possible way. As friends, colleagues, and reporters begin asking questions, Brooke may find herself forced to admit that she knew nothing about Hope's plans. The realization that outsiders may have known more than she did could leave her feeling embarrassed and deeply wounded. Every headline about Hope's exciting new venture might serve as another painful reminder that her own daughter chose not to trust her with the truth. At the same time, Hope may find herself facing an emotional reality she never anticipated when she made the decision to keep her plans secret. While she may have expected disappointment or even anger, she likely never imagined the possibility of completely damaging her relationship with Brooke. As the consequences of her choices become increasingly clear, Hope could begin questioning whether the opportunity she pursued is worth the pain it has caused. Yet even if regret starts to creep in, it may already be too late to stop the damage. Once trust is broken, rebuilding it requires patience, vulnerability, and a willingness from both sides to meet halfway. Unfortunately, Brooke's growing fury may make that impossible in the short term. Every attempt Hope makes to explain herself could be interpreted as another excuse, while every accusation from Brooke may deepen Hope's feelings of frustration and sadness. The tension could reach a boiling point during an inevitable confrontation between mother and daughter. When that moment finally arrives, years of history are likely to pour into a single emotionally charged exchange. Old wounds that seemed healed may suddenly resurface. Previous disagreements could be dragged back into the spotlight. Every hurt feeling that was pushed aside in the past may come rushing back with renewed force. Brooke may demand answers, desperate to understand why Hope felt the need to hide something so important. Hope, in turn, may struggle to find the words that can adequately explain her choices. What begins as a conversation could quickly evolve into a heartbreaking emotional collision where both women feel misunderstood, betrayed, and desperate to defend themselves. As emotions spiral, Brooke's anger may push her toward actions she never imagined taking. The possibility of publicly criticizing Hope, Forcing her to move out or even threatening to cut ties entirely could stem from a place of profound heartbreak rather than simple revenge. Beneath every harsh word and every dramatic decision lies a mother who feels abandoned by the daughter she loves. Brooke may convince herself that she is teaching Hope a lesson or protecting herself from further pain, but those actions could ultimately leave her feeling just as devastated as Hope. Sometimes the deepest wounds are the ones people inflict while trying to shield themselves from suffering. In her determination to make Hope understand the consequences of deception, Brooke may unknowingly create new scars that will take years to heal. Meanwhile, Hope may discover that independence comes with a price she never expected to pay. Building a new future at Logan may bring professional excitement, creative freedom, and opportunities she genuinely believes in. Yet those victories could feel bittersweet if they come at the cost of her relationship with Brooke. Every success may be overshadowed by the knowledge that her mother is not celebrating alongside her. Every achievement could be accompanied by the lingering ache of family conflict. Instead of enjoying this new chapter, Hope may find herself constantly looking over her shoulder, wishing things had unfolded differently. The dream she is chasing may remain alive, but the emotional burden attached to it could grow heavier with each passing day. What makes this entire situation so tragic is that neither Brooke nor Hope entered it intending to destroy their bond. Brooke wanted loyalty, honesty, and a future she believed was best for her daughter. Hope wanted the freedom to pursue her own vision and carve out a path that belonged entirely to her. Somewhere between those two desires, communication broke down, assumptions took root, and trust began to erode. Now both women are standing on opposite sides of a widening divide, struggling to recognize the love that still exists beneath the anger. The more they focus on their pain, the harder it becomes to see each other's perspective. And yet, despite everything, that love has not disappeared completely. It remains buried beneath layers of disappointment, waiting for a chance to resurface, if either of them is willing to take the first step. As this explosive storyline continues to unfold, the stakes grow higher with every passing moment. The fashion world may be captivated by Hope's bold career move, but the real story lies in the emotional battle taking place behind the scenes. Families have survived betrayals before, and relationships have found ways to heal after devastating conflicts. However, healing requires forgiveness, and forgiveness can be incredibly difficult when emotions are still raw. For now, Brooke's fury threatens to dominate every interaction, while Hope's secret continues casting a long shadow over their future. Whether this family can find its way back from the brink remains uncertain. What is certain, however, is that the coming days promise intense confrontations, painful revelations, and emotional consequences that neither Brooke nor Hope will be able to escape. The truth is finally out in the open, and now everyone involved must face the fallout of a secret that has changed everything.